Good morning, this is Father. And sorry, this is going to be a little rough one because I haven't had my coffee yet. Damn you, Stranger Things! I have to watch all of your episodes in a row. Anyway, no spoilers here. So I wanted to kind of go over the spring 2 pattern that I brought up before about how you have this big spike of volume when it hits a spring. But usually it's like a much more, they try a lot more and there's a lot more volatility down here on a normal spring, but there's a second type of spring setup where it comes up, comes back down, tests a higher, just slightly higher low, but doesn't have the volume, right? And this key part here is where I think that they bought up and they let go. FOMO kind of bought it up here and then it dropped back down. They bought back in here again up to that level, stopped. Kind of been buying at that level, right? They do kind of a test here where they push it up, right? And then they let it come back down. They test the bottom low. We don't have the volume, right? And then here they start to push it back up. And I saw, I guess it was here. They push it back up and they make it seem like it's, they let go about the same spot. They let it come back down. And then right here I saw, it was at 1240 or bouts. A bunch of shorts dropped this massive amount, thinking that it was going to come, like it was a final breath and it was going to come down. Made sense on the chart at the time. Then we get the end of the day, a spike of volume still underneath this cause, right? And then the next day we start above the 1240 where the shorts are trapped. That's pretty important, right? So if you look at it from this way of just taking this as a, hey, they've been buying underneath this line. There's been substantial buying anytime it comes underneath this line, and you can almost say when they were coming down, they did something similar. Maybe I don't think they were selling off here. If anything, they were buying the ass to get it down here because this. If I go to the daily. These aren't support and resistance lines. These are just lines to mark out where certain things occurred. This yeah, this is where the shorts dropped right here. I saw them drop when I got to the top, and they caught itself. And the next day it jumped up and it barely hit the, was this the, yeah, this is the 1240 one, yeah. So when I saw the shorts drop into it and the catch, I'm like, okay, well, they got a bunch of shares that way. Sorry that my volume thing isn't 384,000 shares. It's not worth a big cause. Now, like when I'm talking about a big on a cause basis, right? I mean, we can get a lot of momentum off of this, and I'm just gonna kind of go over that because I don't think I've been too clear about a cause. So, a cause is when you do this type of pattern for about 3 months, and you've built up. You've been buying, selling, holding certain stacks ready to push it up to where you'll sell back to retail. At this point, they must have just took it all the way up, dropped all their shares on retail, and it came tumbling down. Could that have caught? Was that supposed to be a UTAD the whole time? It's hard to tell. The whole market kind of was beginning its sell-off, and you'd have to have a really trained eye to have caught it back then. I didn't even catch it until April. So to think that this was ultimately going to be a market-wide bear market, I didn't see coming. So anyway, we're just now breaking into the previous bottoms of the previous range, right? So we took it down here to see how much volume we could get. It looks like a hefty amount. Now, uh, I myself have also talked about going lower, and a lot of people are starting to talk about lower now because fear is really big in the environment right now. So, um, I know I had some point that I wanted to make about this. The thing I have is that everything that I see here, volume wise, these big volume things have been buys. And here at the tops, right, this is the top. I don't see this as selling. I see this as buying pressure upwards. I don't see anything yet that makes me think that they're selling. Now, do I see a possible pullback? And the answer is yes, but Secret Chipmunk, when she posted, can somebody do LAO wave? I was like, I can't do LAO. I always was terrible at LAO wave because it's like you go dun, dun, and this one's got to be longer, and then this one, and you make 3 waves up, and then or 5 waves up, and or 5. I guess it's 3 waves, but you just come down a lot faster than you go up. When you're going up the pattern, but I don't know why that messed up so much. But I could kind of see that. But I'm actually expecting a pullback tomorrow. Now that could start with it going up and then pulling back, and maybe it's not as far back as I think it's going to be. But I almost feel like they're going to do another. I feel like I don't know Tuesday that they're going to do some type of downwards movement at the beginning of the day to try to get shorts to believe that they're going to dump it off, but without going past this line that they've bought most of their assets at. To me, if it goes past that line, then at 12.55, then I would be kind of concerned. But if they're bringing it down, just kind of a shakeout thing, and then they take off. You could probably count that as one for the LA wave, and then you wouldn't have much more to go. And that would work along with everything else that I'm seeing. Of course, then the down is you go down in an LA wave, right? That seems feasible to me. I mean, it's, we haven't built up enough down here that if we don't stay range bound for a while, that if we do see this up, that it's just a temporary solution. There is take it away LA wave, since I'm terrible at it. Let's not think about that for a second. That if this rise comes up and then builds another range above a reaccumulation range, then we can see higher highs, right? It could come up and build another one of these out, but higher. I haven't really played around with the liquidity zones too much, but I felt like everything was pretty good except for like one little small area. And in my previous video, I went over to, like, there's nothing in here that tells me from here on that composite one, we'll say composite EMU, since Booksy, like, the main institutions sold here, right? And they let the other institutions sell it off on the way down. There's no big sells here on the way down. And then they came back in here. You can tell by the massive volume, stopping volume. They stopped it. They're like, okay, we're going to do it here. Retail doesn't have that type of stopping power to buy. Now, maybe they were just, doing it for a small push up, but, I think there hasn't been any place like this volume here. This isn't selling off. if you've seen a large spike like this that was at the top, similar to these, here's where they push it up to do their strength test. Buying a lot here because a lot of institutions, smart money comes in here when they're doing this strength test, and then it takes off. At the end of the day, I started seeing this strength test at the end of the day, and it would fit up with the pattern. I thought we were about to run, and I was I was sold on it because I saw the straight test on what I had marked out. I'll see if I pop up my trend lines if they're now there. Let's see if they're still here. Okay, so because usually we break above strength, go back down into the thing, go up, and then we retested it, and I thought, oh, here we can go, right? In the small type of range we have now. The last possibility from a Wyckoff standpoint, that's actually, if we're lucky, it would be the best, and I really mean that. That we build more of a cause down here, that we have more of what we had over here, where we've got a range for a while before we take off, right? And if that's the case, on this previous one, we had the selling climax, the upthrust, and then the automatic reaction. This was a strength test, automatic reaction. We came down. This was a strength test in phase B, but they did it. They did a lot of this hidden. It was really, really annoying. See how they actually came down quite a bit lower and did their test in after hours, which is odd. It's very odd. And the same thing over here that's odd is AMC hasn't did a lot of skipping and coming back and filling in areas, right? Like this area right here didn't get filled until days later, and that's just really odd for AMC, except back before the June run up when they were doing some massive stuff. Now, let's kind of compare that to the June run up. Let's put this on the 30 minutes so we can go back that far. Okay, so 30 minutes, this is what we look like now. I'm going to try to keep it the same height. So this is what we look like now. Go back to the June. I'll show you what they had for a cause back here. So what they had for a cause back here was this whole pattern here, right? And you can see there's not much volume in it, right? So they were still a lot of holding from institutions from this. So when I say a second, well, they could bring it up to do a second reaccumulation, this is basically what they did. They brought it up here, started buying, brought it down, scare out the weak hands, and then they ran up with it. And this is at the top of this range. So if you compare this cause, it's from they start, well, when they hit their ultimate down, so the selling climax was on March 24th, and then it ran on May 12th. Started going up on May 12th. 24th to May 12th. So from the bottom, May 11th to we start going up on May 24th. See, it's not nearly as much cause. So now if you look at it from that standpoint, if we stayed range bound and created a cause here where this was your automatic reaction to the sell test, whatever this does next, even where it's at, is your next high, and this was our strength test down here, and then our next move would be down to a strength test in phase B, and we went across. That would give us a lot more fuel to take off with, right? The more sideways action you got, the more vertical action you got. That's basically what I was trying to get at. Now, you can go slightly sideways up, make a new cause up, make a new cause up. And ultimately, I thought that's what we were going to do. On a micro scale, they were doing that here. So you had the move up, and then make a new cause, and then move up, make a new cause, move up, make a new cause, move up, make a new cause, really run it. You know, it's really a type of interpretation, and like I said before, it's loud in here, and I haven't had my coffee, but I don't see where they've sold off yet. So on the plus side, the emu is gobbling up the volume grass, right? Now, the reason I brought this up is because in the past I thought that we would come down here and see 8, and it's still not out of the question, right? It's still not completely. We have not escaped any fate that says, "Oh, we don't have to do that anymore," right? We're just drawing pictures on here right now. We have not escaped this in any way that says that that we're out of the safety zone from going to 8 at all. There's nothing that says that this isn't a another gas, but the whole market kind of looks like it's on a kind of bottom. Like everything that I was kind of looking at as far as major companies and everything seemed to have come to a kind of a safe place where they could turn around, and most of them seem to be doing it. Tesla seems to be doing it. Other ones, and the kind of weird thing is, like, we have a scenario like the Elliott wave, I think, coming up where we're going to have, but it's going to be like so. In this example, it would be a higher low than this one, and then it would go up, and then we'll have a higher low, and then it'll go up, and then it'll just sell off, and then we might come all the way back down to 8. That's kind of like what it's looking like right now, like a kind of a final hurrah kind of thing for another LPSY. There's no limit to them, you know. The things that I go off are just, for example, just like in this B range here, it got really, it was really weird B phase. I mean, until it got to the C phase here, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing a spring test here, and then I was like 17, and it didn't really do a 17. It did like a 16, but it followed my what I expected pretty well, and then we had this, and we don't have this straight line type of verticality to where I think we're building other calls now. It can at this point where it's at, because I was counting these as the two areas. It can come down and then come back up and build one of these. It could still make one of these. I just had it on a smaller thing, but then you're saying here, like, it could have taken off right here, right? This would have been a very similar situation. The spring out of there. If you're following like this schematic, we would technically have had this automatic reaction. That would be this, and then we had this, and then we would expect our next move to be. Oh no, wait, that would not have been our automatic. Yeah, that's our automatic reaction. So yeah, we would expect our next move to be. Yeah, it's probably going to be an up, kind of like UTAD thing. I can't see where they're building a cause to go sideways at all or down, but I don't think it's going to be a healthy one. Now it could get it back up in this range and start doing this. It could start building this all over again, knowing that they collected down here and they're going to build a whole 3 month thing over the whole summer. Sure, that's possible. I just don't think I don't think there's enough gas in the engine to get too far. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get at. Like there's they haven't collected enough. They haven't had enough time or enough sideways action to collect enough. Now maybe their intent was just to explore the zone and get out of here. If that's the case, I don't know why they wouldn't explore it. 8. It's pretty obvious that the shorts aren't getting out; they're just more piling in. So if that's the way they're getting liquidity is by buying up the shorts, I would look for more down. So we're in a really weird spot right now. Basically, what I'm getting at. So there's something to be excited about, but if you're looking for an immediate kind of like uptime, which I think we're going to actually have, it's going to be short-lived. So keep that in mind, or it's possibly short-lived because it can, like I said, make a new one up higher. Could be that retail's buying too much down here and they can't get enough shares and they have to bring it higher to accumulate. And also they got the sentiment of retail on this stock where I don't know where some of them stand. And there's a lot of frustrated people out there. I listen to them, or I eavesdrop on them. I like to get my own sentiment. But a lot of people have caught on that we were in a bear market now. At the very end where it's really too late to make anything off of it. Except there are bounces in the bear market, and there is possibility to go to lower. But what they'll do is they'll pump it up enough to get everybody excited back into it and sell into them, right? So, and those are just the up thrusts that happen during a downtrend. Just like if you look at this being down, it's not straight down. I mean, this could have came straight down, right? But it came down and then it came up and then went down, then went up. But the whole intention was going to go down, right? Then it goes down, and then it goes up. It keeps retail, excited about it until it doesn't, right? It keeps it like, oh wow, oh it's going back up, oh. So, like this whole way down, I think until about here, I was like, this could catch. I'm like, what am I talking about? It's already gave back 25% of its gains. I think the rule is 50%. If it gives more than 50% of its gains from the sign of weakness, it's definitely going to distribute the rest of it, right? And then you're looking at this level here, which is the kind of the top of what you expect, and that's where it's a little confusing because usually here you would expect that it would come back into the range, trade a little bit here, and then drop. And it kind of did that, but it was so minute that it doesn't really count. So it's just a little odd how they've done it this time. And maybe because of the bear market was in full effect here. So anyway, I just rambled forever. Now I need to get some coffee. If you got anything from that, good. If not, sorry. I'll mark this one down as possible waste of time from Rambling Idiot.